Sometimes I say nothing for an hour, 2 hours, but I think people probably think I am rude or cold or judging them with my eyes. And sometimes I cannot shut up. I tell a stranger things I have not even told myself. I hear the words leaving my mouth, and part of my brain is screaming, "Stop talking," and another part is just watching like I'm a passenger. I sit thinking, why did I say that? What's wrong with me? But I think this is something I found interesting. There is a name for this. They call it the drive to disclose. And the reason you overshare might have nothing to do with your personality at all. So there is this idea in psychology. When we share personal information, we might not be making a careful decision. We might not be weighing the risks and benefits. We could be pushed by something more automatic. Think of hunger. Think of thirst. You don't decide to be hungry. You just are. And if you ignore it long enough, it takes over. Two behavioral scientists, Erin Carbone and Josh Lowenstein, have written about this. They suggest that sharing personal information may work like a drive, not always a strategy, not always a choice, something that builds up and demands release. And here is the uncomfortable part. This drive doesn't seem to care who you are talking to. There is this concept fever model of disclosure. The idea is fairly simple. The more emotional activated you are, nervous, excited, anxious, whatever, the harder it might get to hold things inside. Think about that. You meet someone, you are a little nervous. Maybe you want them to like you. Maybe the silence feels too heavy. Your brain goes into some level of emotional arousal. And once that arousal is high enough, your filters might drop and you start talking. Not because you decided to, but because something more automatic is running to show. This may help explain why you overshare when you're not comfortable. The silence feels heavy. One theory is that your brain interprets social tension as something to resolve right now. It does not stop to ask whether the person in front of you is the right person to share with. It just wants the tension gone. And here is what makes this even stranger. Sometimes it's easier to overshare with someone you will never see again. Why would you share more with strangers than with people you actually know you? One possible answer is fear of judgment. With strangers, there is less at stake. If they think you are weird, you never have to face them again. The cost seems lower, but the drive to disclose doesn't check the math. It feels the emotional pressure it wants release, and a stranger with a blank face can feel like a safe target. It's like low risk but high relief until the conversation ends and you realize you just told a person you met 12 minutes ago something you haven't told your close friends. And then the regret hits. And here's the trap. If you say nothing, you worry people think you are cold, rude, unfriendly. If you say too much, you worry you have annoyed them, overwhelmed them, made it weird. There is no middle setting that feels safe. This is not you being broken. This is what happens when a drive runs on emotional pressure and the social world gives you no clear signal about how much is enough. You are caught between two fears. The fear of being seen is distant, and the fear of being seen is too much. And your brain, trying to solve this, often picks one that runs with it. Sometimes it picks silence, sometimes it picks oversharing. Neither one feels right after. So, what do you do with this? You probably cannot turn off the drive to connect. It seems to be part of how humans work. And honestly, maybe you should not want to. That drive is probably part of why you have friendships, why you can form bonds, why someone's open up to you and you actually listen because you know what it feels like and you like them. The urge to share is not bad, but the drive may not always know when to stop. It may not always tell the difference between a close friend and someone you just met. It may not register that some information is too much, too fast, or too soon. So maybe the skill is not shutting up completely. Maybe it is learning to notice when the drive is driving. When you feel that nervous energy rising, when the silence starts to feel like a problem to solve, when you feel that urge to fill the space with something, anything, just to connect, that might be the drive. And maybe just knowing that helps a little. Because you can pause and think, am I sharing this because it is the right thing to say? Or because my brain is trying to handle a social situation it doesn't quite know how to read. Sometimes I'm too quiet, sometimes I talk too much. There is no middle setting for me, and maybe that is not a flaw. Maybe that's just what happens when a drive meets a world that never taught you the rules. Anyway, I'm making a new video about social anxiety. Please be sure to subscribe. Alright, thank you.